Evil Dead Burn has two post-credit scenes. It has a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene. And in my 12 years in this business of doing this job, reviewing films, this is the first movie I've ever seen do anything like this before in my entire career. As the credits are rolling for this movie in a press screening and a promo screening, they just cut it. And they say the mid-credit scene and the post-credit scene are so secretive, we can't show you until the film officially premieres this Thursday. Never seen that happen before in my entire life, but here's what I'll say about Evil Dead Burn. Evil Dead Burn is a bloodthirsty brutality blast. Like, if you made a top 10 list of like the most brutal, horrible scenes that have happened in the Evil Dead films through 6 movies, I think at least 5 or 6 of them would come from Evil Dead Burn itself. That's just how in your face and intense this movie is. Burn is easily one of the best entries in the franchise. I think if you had to rank it somewhere, it would probably sit in the top 3 for me. I was a fan of Evil Dead Rise, but I think Burn is the better film. It's one of the most uncomfortable watches you'll have. I think even the most hardened horror fans will turn away a few times through this. And Evil Dead Burn, it goes back to like the heart of what Evil Dead is, what Sam Raimi and that crew and that cast set out to make in the 80s. Just this gritty, one location shot sort of that's just falling apart. And it looks that way. Like it looks the way the movie looks the way it feels, if that makes sense to you. Like you're like looking at this, you're just like, ew, like what is this? But also like this is awesome at the same time. The synopsis for Evil Dead Burn reads like this. Following the death of her husband, Alice and her late husband's family come together at a secluded house. The gathering becomes a family reunion from hell as members gradually turn to deadites as per usual. And look, there's a top 5 horror performance of the year in this film, possibly two. Suyehe Yacoub plays Alice. She's the French wife of Will. He is the husband that gets killed, and following his death is when it brings this whole family together. But Luciane Buchanan as Thea, that's the best performance in the film. She's not in it the whole time, but when she's in, you cannot take your eyes off of her on screen. That's how intimidating and scary and just creepy she is the whole time. It's not Indy Navarrete in Obsession because Indy is one of the focus of that movie the whole time. But what Luciane is doing here is incredible stuff. I was like, this is awesome. I wish we got to see more of this. It's probably the least bloody of the Evil Dead movies, but that they make up for that in the way that they have these kills, and it's just like deteriorating body horror, like stuff Cronenberg would be a huge fan of. And the setting for Evil Dead Burn is really like the main crux of it, because like it's this decaying family that clearly doesn't like each other, and there's a lot of tension built up in this house that's old as shit. It's falling apart the same way this family is falling apart, burning per se. Like there's so much unsaid that just needs to come out, and that happens in this movie. I think in our theater there's probably like 8 to 10 different moments where people were just like, oh God, what's that? Ew, and they were just saying that out loud. That's how you know you have a great film on your hand that's gonna make a shit ton of money. And look, I love that Evil Dead keeps going out and finding up and coming horror directors that haven't done this before. It's kind of like the Alien franchise, the way they set the tone with new and up and coming directors. You know, you had Fede Alvarez, who went on to direct Alien Romulus. You had Lee Cronin, who directed Evil Dead Rise. Now you have Sebastian Vanacek, who I think did incredible stuff here. He took Evil Dead, had all the great stuff that was there, and also made it his own at the same time. Evil Dead Burn gets a 4 out of 5 for me. Cannot recommend more. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Go see this movie when it comes out. You will not be disappointed.